Hi, it's Lisa Cuneo. Welcome to my scrapbook table. I am using some new material for me. It is from the Vintage Artistry Everywhere collection from 49&Market. And today I am mainly using the embellishment cluster kit. I do use the letters for Go out of the page kit, the Ultimate Page Kit, but that is all I use from there. So this is going to be a 2-page layout. I'm sorry you can't see the things I was laying out across the top of my screen there. I have, let's see, 8 photos from a trip I took in September of 2023. I flew to Memphis to visit my son, to get to spend a little bit of time with Kayla, who we had met her twice at this point, and so I wanted to get to spend a little bit of time with her. I wanted to get to know her parents a little bit. It was just a really good opportunity to spend some time with them because we were going to be family. And I wanted to help get some things ready for the wedding. Kayla's mom and I drove around town and found supplies for the favors we were going to make. She also helped me visit a restaurant and figure out what we were going to do for the rehearsal dinner. So it was really good to go and spend time with them. And this is just documenting that trip. I took Kayla and Brian to a sushi place for dinner. Here I'm just flipping through this embellishment cluster kit. They show, I believe, either 4 or 5 clusters on the cover page of it. I tend to get more than that out of the kits because a couple reasons. One, I often make my clusters a little smaller than what they suggest. And two, you'll see here, I'm trimming out the parts that are not going to show. And I will use those. In fact, I end up using them on this page. But they come in handy when I need little bits and pieces for maybe a tab or something like that. So I am creating one of the ones, I have the front of the packaging there for reference. Also, there are items on the back of that packaging that you can cut out and use. So I needed to add this globe. There we go. So there's 4 layers on there and then a few little tinier pieces and some buttons on top. Anyway, I also got to see Brian's wedding ring that had arrived while I was there. So there's a picture of that here. Kayla and her mom took me to see the place where the wedding was going to be. So that was fun, and I have a photo of the sign for that. Now, I really enjoy this collection. I like the colors. I love the travel theme. But I'm not sure I love this layout. And I think what's bothering me is the plain white background. So you'll see in a couple minutes that I do something to try to remedy that. I'm not sure it worked. So maybe you can leave a comment below and tell me if you think I should have left it white, which I can go back to white. I can just lift everything else off and put it on white cardstock. Should I leave it as is, or should I perhaps put it on some patterned paper, something that has maybe a map to it or a grid or something completely different? So here's the dies I'm going to use. They are from Hey Little Magpie. They have great little dies that they're really good for adding layering pieces to your layouts. So the one set that I'm using has like 3 different tabs, and there's also a tag, and that's what I'm using right now. And so this is where I am making good use of those little bits that I cut out that weren't going to show in my other cluster a few minutes ago. And that helps me kind of round out the page without taking up another whole, like the things for another whole cluster from the kit. So I'm just going to run them through my mini Sizzix here. I ended up adding a little bit of tape to hold it together. There we go. And these pieces are going to go in the bottom left corner. In a moment, you'll also see that I create more of a cluster in the top left corner where I have that geo tag for the moment. So I looked at the cluster kit again and pulled out a couple more pieces. And I have more than one of these kits, so if I need more stuff, it's fine. I'm not worried about using something that is called for in another embellishment cluster. Usually works out just fine. So I'm layering up a couple scraps here. Also, the tag die that I used has some little holes that go straight across it, so I was using my pokey tool to get those out of there. And so I'm adding an arrow because that feels appropriate for getting on a plane. And on top of that arrow is going to go that orangey colored heart because I have an orange button in the large cluster on the other side. Or I will, if I don't already. Yeah, I think it's already there. And I like having some in this cluster too. So it ends up there's a little bit of that orange in all three of the embellishment clusters. So now I decided, even though I had that glued down, I'm going to move it because I wanted to add some layers behind it. So I added a tag that I cut with the Hey Little Magpie die. The title Go is going to go up there. Had to move things around a little bit. I forgot to say that I am using a sketch from Teri Rice. It was for day 27 of 30 days of sketches, which was in September, I believe. And all of the sketches for that series were 2-page sketches. And so she used one large 8x10 photo. I didn't have an 8x10 photo. And so I created an 8x10 photo block there using white, navy, and that orange cardstock. It ended up a little more like 8.5 by 11. But that's what I'm using to represent her 8x10 photo that was on the left-hand side of her sketch. I will have a link below to her, or to where you can find that sketch. Then I did some journaling with a white pen. I used a ruler to help me get it straight. And here's where I decided I didn't like the plain white background. So I pulled out this arrow stencil and some Night of Navy ink from Stampin' Up! Because that's Night of Navy paper that I have on there. And I decided to add some arrows. And I added that in the top left, the center at the bottom, and in the top right. Is it any better? I don't know. I'm not in love with it. I still might peel everything else off of the white cardstock and put it on a different background. I really would love to hear your opinion in the comments. So if you have a thought of what might go better here, I would love to hear it. So now I am looking, because I have a smudge there from the ink that I went over the stencil a little bit. And I tried covering or using my gritty eraser and then covering it up with a little bit of white ink, but that didn't work. So I just found these two tiny little stamps. They kind of look like postage stamps that were in the collection, and I added those there. Last, for some finishing touches, I had a few orange enamel dots, and I added some to each of the embellishment clusters. And that is going to be it for this. I'm sorry there's a glare on that one photo. You will be able to see it better in the still shots here. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you have a great day and that you get to scrapbook some things soon. Bye.